Hi everyone. Thank you so much for consistently following our journey. It's May 4th today and I'm supposed to have gone live say April 30th. I am sorry. Again, before I came on this live, I'm like, because I was late for March too, and then I'm late for April. And then I'm asking myself because I'm aware this is not Esther. So Esther is not somebody that likes to apologize every time. I guess shit done or just correct things rather than just coming on live here to say, hey, I'm sorry, yada yada. But life has been lifing, and I mean, took a lot of thinking for me to decide to come live in April. But because I just told myself that what, the show must go on. I so I've been having some anyways, I don't think that's an excuse, but just on updates and building and all of that, because I'm thinking that sometime in the future I'm going to be able to look back at these videos and and maybe just there's someone out there also that would find it useful. But it's just cool that we're documenting our journey and all of that. And so it's really been a lot for me, anyways, catching up with my part-time gig, and I've been here for the last 2 months. Not the typical kind of sickness, but I've been on nutrition, trying to get back in some nutrition that got depleted from my diet and all of that. So I've been on dietary drugs and all of that. And so yeah, my body has been changing hormones and yeah. Okay, that's it on that. And but we've been working regardless of I've been working and just getting things done and then getting to fitting together. And I remember saying it that March was just a lot and I was just sharing things in March. But genuinely in April I took time to think, and it was such a long time. I think 2 weeks I didn't work actively for 2 weeks. When I say work actively, I mean trying to build partnerships and all of that. And so in April was a season of intense retrospection for me because things were moving, right? But they're not moving as fast as I had envisioned, right? I think in April we signed 3 new partners actually. Yeah. Hmm. One in Portugal, one in Turkey, and then one other one in the UAE, right? And then I got people asking me for API access. Now looking back right now, it seemed it's something, but in April I was thinking, oh gosh, was so slow and things are not moving as fast as I'd envisioned. But and that led me into thinking, right? What do we do from here? What is happening? And so this session is, I'm actually going to be brutally honest in this session. If I look at it there 5 years down the line and I decide to delete it, oh well, fine. But I'm going to be quite very, very honest, honestly, on this session, right? Because when people talk about bootstrapping, you you admire that strength, and it's not necessarily because there is no you can't raise from VC and all of that. Raising from VCs depends on market, depends on climate, it even depends on traction. Right now, people are treating pre-seed as if how they are treating seed businesses. They want to see traction, and then there's the side of the other end to it of sort of say, hey, we made these sales, we made this, but nobody's really telling you the back end of the work that they're doing. And so you go ahead, you set out and be like, hey, okay, this is possible, this is what we're going to be able to achieve, let's start doing this. And then you realize that while what you're doing is not wrong, it's not wrong at all, it just takes time. And so you're wondering, so what are people doing in the now to get answers? What are they doing in the now to get sales? And then you realize that if it's not referrals from folks you already know, then it has to be people with high intent who are willing to buy now or buy in the next 1 week. And then again, you begin to rethink your strategy. So I'm saying this to again buttress the point that nobody tells you that it is money that does the heavy lifting. Yeah. And you can't raise money if you've not made some money, right? And you can't make money if you don't have money. And I'm relating this to startups, honestly, because we have subscription plans that we pay for, idiot, and then and all of those things, right? And at the end of the day, you just again you have to do what you have to do. And so for me, it was just like taking some time off because I already when I work like a maniac. So all of my lists, I was on with my list, both the ones I tried to that I mentioned last month in March for EMCs, DMCs. I already got folks that are interested, and I got folks who were like, you can follow up back later. And I was calling people like once a week. So I had like schedules, three different kind of lists. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I had different lists I was calling, and at a point I just said, hey, for like 4 weeks straight, I've been calling people, checking back. But some people are like, oh no, some people are like, we're gonna talk later. Not bad traction, honestly, but it wasn't working like now. And then I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna stop following up on folks and just wait. Maybe I need to focus on the B2C side first. I mean, yeah, I'm doing B2B, but maybe I need to pay more attention, not focus, because when you say focus, it means I'm like sound as if I'm trying to that eliminate the B2B side where that's like my actual strength. And then we began to so it was like we started over again for our B2C actually, and then saying we understand that B2C don't need months of follow-ups. They don't need weeks of follow-up to say, oh, they want to travel idiot and then following up and all of that. And we came to two conclusions, honestly, that for one thing we've seen work very well for us in the past is events. And we're going to use that again. We're going to use events as leverage again. But this time around, we're going to use it for B2C. And when we started trying that, we ran into an issue with Facebook. Our TikTok, we're not getting responses. We actually launched a TikTok campaign in March. And then in April, we've had like over 70 responses. I do have, let me give, sorry, I didn't plan to share this on this live session, but in case somebody's sending DMs and they are getting frustrated, something that could encourage you. For 4 weeks, so we have 1,583 TikTok contacts. And in 4 weeks, we sent 1,489 DMs. And within that 4 weeks, we only got 28 replies. 2 weeks after that, we now have over 100 replies. And I remember having a meeting with my team in March, and I was telling them that in April, I think it was first week in April, and I was telling them that you guys might be new to this. I might be wondering, oh, but why you not getting results and all of that. I want you to understand that there's nothing you're doing that is wrong. Some of these things just take circles. And, before we knew it, I mean, they were literally the ones that came to me and said, hey, did you know that we have like tons of responses? I'm literally, struggling to like respond to all of them. Because, we have like multiple accounts where we used to like send our TikTok DMs and all of that. Maybe now that I'm talking about that, maybe that's a win. But I feel like in April we didn't achieve anything tangible. But much more, it was a great session for me personally because then I did a lot of like introspection and just like understanding a couple of things. And you know we now have we had an ad agency a couple of weeks, not a couple of weeks, it's like last week. And so we're going to be running some ads awareness and then capture leads and then we see that where that leads us. And our affiliate in Bali is asking for true, but through them we actually got like our first request on the B2C side of things. So yeah, but it's about $28, the cost of the experience. So it's just like a 1 hour 30 minutes experience. Is it ATV now? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think it's ATV. Yeah, that was it. Honestly, for April, nothing much. But I became mentally in April. It was I felt like April was that month where I was juggling many realities. I was doing the work and then I started to pause the work, but and honestly it was also the first time I'm pausing work. I don't know how to stop when I start. And that's why I don't start many things at a go because I'm a very focused person. But I don't know, I just sometime in April I woke up and I told myself, hey, you know what? You followed up on these folks enough. You know those that are interested, you can always pick it back. Just like give them a breather, let just give it some time. And for 2 weeks I was giving it some time. I had time to think in the afternoons, instead of calling early in the morning, the midnight calls, that kind of like stopped. Because I was also calling folks in Australia. and they're like 12 hours ahead of me. Then I was calling folks in Canada, in Europe at the same time. Yeah, and so I had 2 weeks to first of all understand some things, and then secondly, just learn to like be grateful for like everything, because I've always had problem with how people come and then they glamorize success because they're doing a disservice to people that are coming behind them. Also, I've always had a problem with how people say, hey, we got 100 clients in 6 months, yada yada, but nobody's breaking it down, right? You don't know if they have like a newsletter of 120K people on board. You don't know if they paid an influencer some money to promote their videos. You don't even know thousands that you've invested into adverts. And so those things are very shiny. In as much as they're good, you should be encouraged. But I feel like we should share their process more. I mean, that was one thing that April taught me. And then I also began to then layer efforts too, to say that, if I get this faster, or if I get this slower, but realizing that all along I've been right, will I still be grateful for it? And I tell you, I don't know if that has anything to do with building Zago, but I came into this knowledge because I'm building Zago. I realized this, like it dawned on me because I was doing that. Because if I was just doing my sales thing and all of that, I wouldn't even it wouldn't matter honestly. But because I'm building Zago, I'm like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. And then so you have to you question ideologies, you test ideologies, and sometimes just scenario play. If it happened, I asked myself like, you know, would I still have been grateful for it if all we had was B2B and then working? Then I'd realize that, and again, it also goes to this point of like folks not just sharing what they've done more, but sharing their process more, right? And then the startup world is just crazy. Like too many. Well, if you say too many, it means that I'm saying it's a norm. Maybe not a norm, but I see it all the time. In fact, there was a conversation that started here on Twitter. Folks started on Twitter a couple of days ago, where some founders were saying that they're making 5K, 50K MRR per month, and then a couple of folks went to find it out, and they realized that some of these founders were lying. They didn't even have those users, and then I honestly understand it. I work in marketing and sales. People do these things. I don't do it, but I mean honestly, whatever gets you faster to your goal, yeah, it doesn't make it right, but if it rocks your boat, I literally don't care because not having resources is actually crazy. If you have a great idea, if you're a good person, your idea deserves a chance. If you feel like it's going to get you closer to investors, if it's going to get you closer to your victory, just do what works for you. But I wouldn't just like do it. And again, that kind of like really in reality again, because you hear several things. Oh, in a month we did this, we did that, and I'm not been moved by things like that. I'd rather just come to you and say, hey, I saw what you're doing, amazing work. How are you doing it? Yeah, that. But again, there are a couple of founders that then make that their standard. And I think I was that founder, honestly. Like, oh, okay, this person's doing 100K MRR. All right. Okay, so let me just go to my drawing board. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And then you put things around and you realize that you don't have resources actually. And anyway, it's just so many things in one. But I think April was quite refining for me. And then I had some mental room to just not care, honestly, because when I say to not care, I mean that to not think that after I've called a company, somebody else will take the deal. Because whether you like it or not, folks are actually reaching out to B2B anyways. And we got this month we got like our fourth API request. We kind of APIs now, obviously, but maybe something to look at in long term. But most importantly, we're still building. We're here, and for me, we're just focusing on like honestly more conversions, hosting events, and then using that event as vehicle to get people on board the platform. Yeah, I guess that's about it. hmm Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions for me, let me know. Again, my advice to any founder listening to this: every once in a while, you might just like want to try to take a break, because you're not taking the break because you won't miss work or anything. You're taking the break for perspective. And I felt like that was what April did for me. It gave me perspective into a lot of things, honestly. And I'm excited. I'm more than excited, pumped to get into it in May, and just get the ground running. And of course, I felt like I took too long. You may not want to take that long. Depends on how long and how far you've been grinding. Honestly, I don't think I've rested since we started Zago Tours in June last year. And even this month, I graduated from a digital entrepreneurship program. So it's been work, 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 work for me. But I didn't take the break because I needed to rest, honestly. I took the break because that was what the work demanded, right? Yeah, and so sometimes work demands things like that of you, and you just have to do it. And also, I want to advise that as long as you're sure that you're constantly putting in the work, you want to try as much as you can to not be frustrated. It's very easy to be, actually, very, very easy. And so, but you have the moment you're putting in the work, you would even see yourself as someone who is undeserving of frustration or depression, right? The reason you even have room in the first place or things like that, it's probably because you're not putting enough reps or you have time to think. If you, I know it's, and I know this looks like I'm promoting the hustle culture, but see, I'm not going to lie to you. If you're starting a company, there's no work balance. You're going to grind out your nails in the first 5 to 10 years. Every other thing that you see on the internet is a blatant lie. I remember I called somebody this month and I told them that how how much do you think you need to work to become something in life? I don't again be on being introspective this month. And then I told them multiply that by 100 because that's how hard you have to work. And I think that's how it is with startups too. If you feel like you have to grind 6 hours every day, multiply that 6 hours by maybe 3 times 5 because honestly they've lied to you, but not just to you, to me. I mean, folks just like oversimplify some things. And I think I said it too in my live session, in said some aspect of it during my live session in December, that everybody is speaking from an inflection point, right? So we all hear from an inflection point. And so because we're all hearing from an inflection point, people might be saying a lot of things that they're not saying, right? So, and if you've not been in that kind of environment, you never even understand the pointers that got them to where they are. Yes. Honestly, let's keep building, let's keep doing the work. I'll see you in May, and I'm trying. I think I'll be in May pretty early. So help me God. Thank you so much for following the journey. Thank you. And if you have questions or want me to share my thoughts, you can write to me at partnerships@zagotours.com. If you want to become one of our suppliers, I think I just put the word out there for suppliers. If you want to become one of our suppliers, if you want to become one of our agents working with us, or you want to invest in Zagotours, you've seen what we're building, and you're like, these guys are crazy. I think they can get it done. Feel free to send me a mail to partnerships@zagotours.com. Thank you so much. Bye.